A new rivalry is heating up in the West, as the Thunder and Timberwolves have now both stolen the 1 seed from each other in head-to-head matchups. You've got Ant calling out the refs, OKC's guys mocking Cat in IG comments, all the good stuff. They split the season series 2-2, so the only chance we get of another battle would be in the playoffs, and I have my concerns. In this most recent game, the Timberwolves implemented a defensive strategy that exposed OKC's biggest weakness and may have some postseason implications. Of course, what I'm referring to is putting Rudy Gobert on Josh Giddey. Because Chet's a legit 3-point shooter at the 5, whenever Rudy's matched up with him, it's a lot harder to protect the rim. Shea's left with space to operate one-on-one, and for arguably the game's best isolationist, that usually leads to some pretty good offense. So how do they counter? Put Jaden McDaniels on Chet, a big, lengthy, mobile forward who can stay in front of him at all times, while Gobert just sits on the block, waiting for someone to disrupt in the paint. Here's another example that starts with Chet trying to take McDaniels off the dribble, with Gobert sitting about 20 feet off of Giddey. Notice how when the pass is made, he doesn't even attempt to close out because they want Josh shooting that shot, although he does make them pay with this one. Even when he has the ball, look at how Rudy guards him. Again, he makes no effort to close out, then when Chet comes to screen, he drops back to the paint, completely abandoning the perimeter as Giddey makes them pay again. Next time down the floor, Rudy finds himself matched up with J-Dub in isolation, so now Ant's going to be the one to play off of Giddey, offering some aggressive help at the nail, only for him to once again punish the Wolves from behind the arc. He made 3 threes in about 6 minutes without missing a shot. Pretty impressive. The problem though is sustainability. Since entering the league, he's hit just 30% of his wide open threes, an abysmal 11th percentile. With that, he's also hit about 30% of his catch and shoot threes, 13th percentile. We're talking about one of the worst shooters in the league, so once that hot start comes back to earth, OKC's got some serious problems. Watch Rudy. He rotates from the other side of the court to protect the rim, leaving Giddey on an island on the wing, and when he catches, Naz Reid doesn't even care to take away that space. All of a sudden that luck has run out. Here's one that starts with Shea playing out of the post, and again, Gobert has completely abandoned Giddey on the opposite wing to shut off the paint. The easy skip pass is made, McDaniels prioritizes Chet in the corner, and he's left with another wide open brick. When you have a non-threat to this degree, all of a sudden offense becomes exponentially harder. Shea has no space at all to operate with. The Wolves are doubling him, sitting in his driving lanes, and even if he does find a way to break through, the best rim protector of this generation is waiting for him like a catcher behind home plate. Late in the second quarter, Minnesota even threw out a zone, focused on the exact same principles. They're not worried about Giddey touching the ball in the middle of the floor because there's a pretty good chance he's not finishing over Rudy. And when he's on the perimeter, once again, they're able to just put a wall in front of Shea. Giddey gets the kickout pass, and not only does Ant not close out, he turns around and follows a cutter, literally daring Giddey to lose his team the possession. Whenever he was on the floor, OKC's shot quality was in the dirt. For the most part, the only looks they got were contested, tough mid-range jumpers. With enough skill, you can make it work to some degree, but in 2024, if that's your primary source of half-court offense, good luck keeping up. In quarters 2 and 3, Giddey played just under 8.5 minutes, and the team scored 12 points. During that time, they had an offensive rating of 69.6. If you're not familiar with how bad that is, the worst offense in the NBA, Memphis, has a 109 offensive rating. So in other words, the offense was more than abysmal when Giddey was out there, which is why he'd sit out the last 7.5 minutes of the third. During the time without Giddey, things immediately turned around. They won the rest of the quarter by 12 after being outscored by 6 in the first 4 and had an offensive rating of 178.6. Now, obviously that isn't sustainable at all, but just add some more perspective on what we're talking about, because Giddey would return for the fourth, and right away we were looking at more problems. On the very first play, you can once again see Gobert waiting under the basket like he's Bill Russell before defensive 3 seconds, and when Giddey gets it in the corner, no scramble to recover. Take that shot and miss. Once again, the shot quality was putrid. Tough look after tough look, end of clock offense with zero advantage. It was just bad. After just 2 minutes, he was done. OKC was -9 in those 2 minutes. Yeah, outscored by almost double digits in 120 seconds. He only lasted 19 total minutes over the entire game, which really felt like 19 too many. The Thunder were -17 with an offensive rating of 94.7 in his time. From the exact moment he sat in the fourth, OKC's offense looked significantly cleaner. There's way more space to operate, which makes it easier for Shea to get to his spots, and Rudy can't just wait under the basket all night without having to worry about covering someone. But unfortunately, they're fighting an uphill battle from the Giddey minutes, so despite looking much sharper offensively, they ended up losing the game by 6. It's not just this game I'm worried about though. All season long, my biggest concern with OKC's translation to the playoffs, despite being a top seed, has been the offensive limitations of Giddey. He's a below average scorer from everywhere on the floor, and against teams with the rim protection to take advantage of it, like Gobert and the Wolves, he becomes virtually unplayable. It'll be interesting to see how the Thunder approach this weakness in upcoming matchups with better defenses, and if they find a way to ease some of the concerns heading into playoff time. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to drop a like, subscribe, and turn my post notifications on to be first on more content. If you're interested in my more in-depth research, make sure to check out my website and social media profiles. You can find those links in the description. Feel free to let me know down in the comments what you thought of this game. As always, I hope you all have a great day, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.